Okay, so by now we've all seen it. And we know that there's this big controversy going on with this game. And honestly, it's pretty sad. I get it. You know, this is the one game that we've all been wanting. This is the one we've all been waiting for ever since, Assassin's Creed 2 came out. We're like, we want an Assassin's Creed game based in Japan. Now, years later, we finally get an Assassin's Creed game based in Japan. But the fans are not happy. And the worst part about it is, it's the fans that aren't even gonna play the game in the first place. So it's kind of like, why do you even care? Then you have people like me, who's gonna get the game because it's Assassin's Creed and I wanna assassinate some people. So it's kind of funny. When I started watching the trailer, I was like, wow, this is gonna be fun. We're in Japan, everything is good. Yeah, it's a cinematic trailer, so with Ubisoft, we gotta wait for actual gameplay because they're known for making really good cinematic trailers and then the game is just not delivering. As I'm watching the trailer, they start to show off the main protagonist and we have two protagonists this time. We have Naoe, who's going to be your female stealthy assassin, and I was like, hey, this is going to be really cool because, she's small, she's skinny, she's female, she's going to be able to sneak around pretty easily. And then they show Yasuke, and I was like, oh, we're telling this story. That's awesome. Mainly because there's so much that you can do with Yasuke because we don't know that much about him. So this is the perfect opportunity to put him into a game and then tell the story because the anime that they made about him was garbage. But then again, this is Ubisoft, and we'll just have to see where this goes. But for obvious reasons, we know what the controversy is and why the fans are so upset about it is because we got a game set in Japan, finally, we've all been waiting for it, and it's a black samurai. Most people will say he wasn't a samurai, but there's no evidence proving that he was or that he wasn't, even though they find things where like, oh, he was a retainer. What are retainers, guys? Do a quick little Google search. So there's that big controversy with that, and people are like, oh, we wanted a Japanese protagonist. Of course, Ubisoft trying to be woke because they put in a black protagonist. Where's our Japanese protagonist? And it's like, did you guys even watch the trailer? There's two protagonists, all right? You got Naoe, your female Japanese protagonist. Then you have Yasuke, your African-American protagonist. There's two protagonists in this game. So when you start to see things like this, you're like, okay, clearly people are upset for one reason. And let's be honest, we all know what that reason is. And it will just be a lot easier if you say you just don't want a black person in your game. Because there's always an issue when there's a black protagonist in a video game. We're in 2024, okay? We can start pretending that you just don't want a black protagonist in a game. Just say that you don't want a black protagonist in your game. It's okay. That would be more understandable and believable. I mean, it is a game based in Japan. Just say that. But everyone's excuse is kind of a dumb excuse because they're saying that there were no black people in Japan, which just goes to show you that these people don't even know their own history and that they didn't even bother looking it up why, they're using Yasuke, why he makes perfect sense to be in this time period because it's feudal Japan. Everyone's like, oh, there were no black samurai in there. It literally takes a couple seconds to look it up and you could see that there was a black samurai in this era, and his name was Yasuke, which is the character that they're using for this game. And it's like people are saying, oh, it's not historically accurate. Guys, it's Assassin's Creed. The series has never been accurate. You have Paul Revere running around with an assassin telling people that the British are coming. That's one thing. Then you have an assassin who's fighting gods and demons. Then you have these powers where you can go invisible, you can teleport to people. You have all of these things. The game's not historically accurate. You have people time traveling. When have we ever cared about Assassin's Creed games being historically accurate? Never. This has never been an issue until now when there's a black protagonist. And it's kind of ironic that people are like, oh, we want our game to be historically accurate when we finally get a black protagonist. And again, like I said, I get it. You want a Japanese protagonist. You have two protagonists. It is okay. You have your female Japanese protagonist, okay, who's more than likely going to be the main protagonist of the game. And then Yasuke is going to be your second person who's going to be coming in for certain quests and then you're going to be playing as him. So I just don't see the issue in this. And it's pretty obvious, the only ones who are truly upset about it are a certain group of people. And it's the same group of people who've been upset about every single thing dealing with black people. They're saying, oh, they're pandering to their fans. They're trying to push this different kind of narrative, but it's like, I get it. Sometimes some companies definitely pander to try and, boost sales and stuff, but this is a case of a legit, real historical figure. This isn't pandering. They just picked him because, one, he started to become very popular recently. And it's like, why would you not? This is a character that most people don't know anything about. So this is the perfect opportunity, push his story, to, tell some more people about him. And right now, more people are looking into him, which is great. And it also gives you more room in creating this game with this story because, again, he's a figure that no one knows anything about. So they could make it about anything. I don't know, I'm excited to play the game. And like I said, the average person who's upset about it anyways hasn't touched an Assassin's Creed in years. Or probably never even planned to buy the game in the first place, so it's like, who cares? Has anyone even bothered to ask anybody from Japan about their thoughts about this, about how they feel about having a second protagonist and it being Yasuke? Or is it just other people complaining about it on other people's behalf? Because no one seems to do that. And don't even get me started on Neo, which is one thing that a lot of people are bringing up in their arguments too. And they're like, oh, and Neo was a great game. And it's like, he was a white guy. Like, no one's complaining about that. It's like, oh, he was a real person. Yasuke was a real person. So again, it's obvious. People just don't want black people in their video games. One person even said, oh, just make him a side character. Yeah, okay. So, I don't know. Gamers are weird. I don't understand them. I don't understand most of the fans they're always complaining about this kind of stuff. And they're the only ones who are complaining about this kind of stuff. Then on the other hand, you have, us as African Americans, we have to deal with all the hate towards us, and they're like, you guys are asking for this. And I'll be completely honest with you. When I heard about them making a Japanese Assassin's Creed game, none of us was like, throw Yasuke in there, throw Yasuke in there. None of us asked for Yasuke. But the fact that he just so happened to be one of the protagonists in the game is really cool. So a lot of people are coming after us saying that we forced this to happen and that this is something that we wanted, and it's like, we literally did not ask for this. And surprisingly enough, we're like, hey, we have our Japanese protagonist and we have another protagonist. I promise you, if this other protagonist was white, no one would say anything. And then you have people who try to do this thing where they're like trying to change certain actors from movies and games and saying like, what if you race change this person? You guys would be causing a riot. And their example, and I don't know why they do, I don't know if they do this as a joke or if they're being dead serious, but they're like, what if you were to change someone like Martin Luther King and cast it a white person? And it's like, Martin Luther King was a real person. He was African American. So if you were to change him white, obviously people would have an issue with it because you're changing a real historical figure with another person. Yes, people are going to have an issue. If you do something fictional, like for example, if you were to do like Black Panther, cool, we all know that Black Panther is black, right? Like T'Challa is a black person. But if they were to make him white, whatever, he's fictional. It's like the Little Mermaid, she's a fictional character. No one really cares if they change their race. Or people are like, what if you were to change, Nick Fury into a white person? And it's like, I don't think you guys even know, Marvel like that, because Nick Fury was white. And we have Ultimate Nick Fury, who's currently playing Nick Fury as Samuel L. Jackson. So again, more things of people just not knowing what they're talking about. And so when you have characters like Yasuke, who is a real person, a real African-American person, you just can't up and change his race. So those little arguments are just dumb and proves our point that people just don't want black characters. It's just, that's what it is. Or they'll say something dumb like, go make your own like game or movie, and it's like, again, we didn't ask for this. This is something that they put together, and it's just happening. And am I excited? Of course I'm excited for it. More representation. I love it. You don't see it that much. And you're starting to see it a lot more in today's time, but back then, it was rare to see any kind of black representation in movies, films, games, anything. So yeah, it's a nice change, and I'm excited. Also, not to mention, we haven't seen any gameplay on this. It's just been a cinematic trailer. We don't even know what the story is going to be. We don't know what the side characters are going to be. People are complaining that, oh, they should have chose a real Japanese character, which, by the way, Yasuke is a real Japanese character, but they might do the same thing that they do in every single Assassin's Creed game, where one of the main characters or the historical figured characters are going to be a side character where you're going to be doing missions for. So it's like, the people are just finding things to complain about. Just don't buy the game. Simple as that. Don't get the game, or wait for more stuff to come out and then make your decision based off of that. But don't just say because there's a black samurai that you guys don't want to get the game. That's ridiculous, and it makes you seem pretty racist. So what are you guys' thoughts on this controversy with Assassin's Creed Shadows? Are you going to get the game? Are you not going to get the game because they have a black samurai? Or do you just like not care and you're just going to play the game because it's Assassin's Creed, like myself? And I know that this is something completely different from what I normally do on my channel. I normally do movies and animes, but I'm starting to add more things to it, like anime, video games, movies, shows, all different kinds of things. And you know, I might sprinkle in a little bit of drama here and there. So let me know what you guys think about it in my comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And please don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified each time I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Sunway review, take me on a cinematic journey through the highs and the lows. You bring movies to